Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the 177th episode of Twisted Strands. My name is Jeannie, but you can also call me JD. And this is the magazine we're going to review today. Kind of off the cuff. And that's it's going to be a shortish episode. I'm not feeling that hot, but I really wanted to talk to you. Naturally, I mean, why wouldn't anybody want to talk to you? You're a good person. Or at least you try. And for that, I thank you. Anyway, last weekend was Stash Dash. Last week was the end of Stash Dash. I used approximately 8,900 yards of yarn and got 3rd place. And Cleo's up here. Hi, Cleo. I think she's chasing something. So I'm really proud of my achievement. I used up the entire cone of yarn that I was going to use up, and I still need to send out a lot of gifts for the animals and people that I wanted to give these things to. My prayer shawls are already out to the church and all that. And yeah, it was a good run, but just like the first time I tried to participate in Stash Dash, I killed my elbow, and it gets a little achy breaky sometimes, but I'm more worried about what the hell I did to my shoulder this past weekend. I have no idea. I'm getting old, and apparently I'm falling apart. I'm sure some of you understand. Speaking of falling apart, I know some of you have methods of praying and putting someone in your good thoughts. Our dear Belinda Gritter I think she's been watching the podcast since it started, and she's in a lot of pain. I don't want to go into it here, but she could really use our prayers, or thoughts, or mojo, whatever you call it, whatever you think you think it'll do. Send her some get well wishes, please. And while she's in pain, she is still beating my ass on the Bactus. It's beautiful. It's got bright green and pretty blue. But anyway, next subject is Stash Dash. Yes, I went to a total of 9 stores, and I was pretty good. I didn't spend all that much. I'm going to show you everything that I bought right now. I've put it in this big old plastic Macy's bag, so I would be able to just grab it and rattle off what I bought. Now, you'll be proud of me. Most of this has a purpose. Now, this I picked up in Yarn Debut, I believe. And this is actually number 10 crochet cotton. And then it's ecru. So this is going to be, do you want to see the purpose? We might as well just keep prattling on. The reason I bought that is I drew 14-inch or larger in diameter doily for the Sussex County State Farm and all that, and I'm going to go and make lacy petals. So, and that is designed, and in this book it's Rita Weiss. I think it's the one right there. Not sure, but I think it's there. So anyway, this is for a competition, so I gave myself a bit of a choice, actually. I had pulled this from the stash earlier. I told you I can totally go yarn shopping in my stash. I don't know whether bamboo crochet thread, which seems softer and less twisty as hell, or the DMC Pure cotton mercerized would be better. Both are in really nice color. This is called Buttercup, so it's a bit of a light yellow. You can pretty easily see what color it is there, of course. So if you have any advice about what would be easier, best to use for this project that is going into competition, I mean, I don't think I'll win, but I want to work as if that's something that mattered, and you know me, I'm not very competitive. So anyway, which do you think is best for beautiful doilies that look great to judges? So let me know in the comments anywhere. I watch all the comments. I watch the blog for comments. I watch the group. I watch Facebook. I watch Twitter. I watch the YouTube for the comments. I'm very adamant about hearing everybody. So anyway, that's what that is for. And then I bought 2 different worsted weight / Aran. Wait. From the same store, I believe. And this is Cascade Yarns Cherub Aran. And I'm not showing you anything of use. Sorry. Let me contort myself for you. Anyway, I'm gonna make a cow for my second item that I will be doing. And I'm gonna do this pattern by Delicious Crochet. And it's by Paula Navarro, and it's just disgustingly adorable. I've had this pattern. It's one of the first crochet patterns I ever purchased, so I've basically been looking for an excuse to make it, and it's just so stinking cute. Flash, I don't want to show you the pattern. Not that you'd really be able to read it, but anyway, I bought this off of Etsy years ago, and I've been wanting to make it. It's just so freaking cute. So I bought the pink for her muzzle, and the green for the grass, clearly. And the rest I have in abundance. I have black, I have white, I have brown, so I'm good there. I think I have enough black. We'll see. Anyway, so that's my 2 fair things, and that's what I bought the yarn for. And then I bought yarn for that 3... Oh, I don't have time to look for it. I'm sorry. It's a cowl that I showed to you all as one of my favorites in a knitting calendar that I purchased just for the patterns. And see, I want to use these 3 skeins of Big Wool by Rowan to make it. This was purchased from Wool and Grace, so it's nice that all of these stores were nice except for one, and I will let you know which one sucked in a minute. Okay. Anyway, this is my purchase from Yarn Diva, and it's Wonderland Yarns Cheshire Cat limited edition. Have some wine, and it's a gradient pack basically, and it's, let me see, about 640 yards. So I'm going to use this for a shawl, and that's fingering weight, and it's really pretty. They had several different packs, and more than one store had that, so yay. And I also bought some longer size 2 needles in Knitter's Pride. I really do like the Knitter's Pride and the Chiagu. I used to think that I wanted an entire collection of fixed Addi Turbo needles. I've stopped believing that now. They're good needles, don't get me wrong, but I don't really need a full collection. What I love is the freaking Chiagu, Haya, Knitter's Pride. Those are the needles that are my go-to. Someday I will find square needles that are fixed circular, and I will give those a shot. But until then, I will just make do with my favorites that I already have. And I went to Do You Knit, which is a strange little place, but they have good indie patterns. And one of them is from a local designer, Toby Roxanne, and that is what I want to make. I love all the shawls. I love this more than the other edition of her shawls, and I have that beautiful traveler's yarn, so I'm going to make this first. But one of these other designs I think will be amazing in the other one, the yarn I just bought. So I'm very happy with this purchase, and she was there at the Do You Knit store in Westfield, so she signed it for me. So yay! Warlock! Huzzah! Sorry, I should have gotten some water. But anyway, this was given to me by one of the store staff from the Blue Pearl. Now, by the time we got to the Trillium, which is my local yarn store that I love, we were at the Blue Pearl, then Trillium, and I was just about all out of gas for buying yarn, and I couldn't think of any reason to buy more. Seriously. But she was nice enough to come find me and say, "You got your passport stamped, you get yarn." Even though I didn't buy anything from them. Even though I did see some delicious samples. It's a very nice, larger store in our area. And she gave me Milano, which is some very odd yarn, which is probably why they were giving it away. But it's wool, polyamide, and silk, polyester, and acrylic. So it's this very unusual. See? I know it probably won't show up very well, but it's very textural without being too much of a novelty yarn, in my opinion. So that's Milano that I got for free. Thank you, Blue Pearl. Not that I think anybody really local watches me. So anyway, Cleo! She's stalking something. Kill it. So anyway, that's my purchases. Let's get on to, and you see what I'm planning on knitting in the next few months, because you know I'm slow. Another thing that I'm knitting is, of course, don't laugh too hard. Be nice to me, please. I've only done this much on my lacy Bactus that I'm knitting along with you. And as you can see, the color is really awesome for it. It's the Doctors Without Borders colorway from Madeline Tosh. So I'm gonna knit until at least 25 inches from the bottom, which is where you start to decrease. And a few times I did have to frog this the other night, which sucks, but you know what? Shit happens. So there we go. That's my lacy Bactus, and I must admit I'm so impressed by everybody. I know Vindish has been working very hard on hers. Made in England. You've already reached the halfway point and then some. And my friend Gretel, who is in my knitting group, has already bypassed me by far. She brings her stuff to work. I usually get the dirty look if I knit at work, even though he knows I knit and encourages me to enjoy my hobbies away from my desk. So, he's a very nice man, but he doesn't like to see me on break. I usually spend it just surfing the net or playing Cookie Jam or whatever the hell it is. So, it's pathetic, it's teeny. I shall work on it more this week. My shoulder's feeling better, my elbow's feeling okay, so I will continue. And I do like the pattern, even though I screwed it up royally. What's a pattern with it? What's a lace shawl without a couple of cock-ups, you know? Oh boy. Anyway, that's what I'm knitting on. I'm also knitting on oh, let me give you the lady's name that does that. Needle down, needle down. Her name is Tershi Montonen. I slaughtered that. Anyway, I'm also still kind of working on my Goth Cowl by Sadie Belgrade, who does Knitter's Nightmare Yarns and the Yarnivorous podcast. Or is it Yarnivore? I don't know. But anyway, still working on that. I got an inch and a half more done. So I've gotten 2 repeats done. I will do the 3rd repeat until I reached 10 inches, yada yada. I hope I didn't give a lot away. But anyway, it's really a fun knit. And I have not had to tear this out. This is made of James C. Brett's Marble Chunky. And I recommend this yarn. It is very nice. It's 100% acrylic, I think. So it's really good stuff. And it comes in these huge freaking balls. Great big balls! So those are my 2 main works in progress. If you see my project page, you'll know there are many more things that are on the back burner. Way, way back burner. But that's fine. That's just how I am. That's how I work. So anyway, that's what I'm working on and doing. No spinning. I've been kind of busy. So busy, I haven't even touched my beautiful, funny looking calico birchwood yarn that I wanted to make. So I'll get into it later. April has been super busy for me, and that's a good thing. But it's also a bad thing because I don't deal with being busy. So I'm the type of person that likes to just chill out, not have anything to do, chill out and play my games or not do anything. Speaking of games, let's move on to stuff and junk. Now, as you all know, I'm an avid Sims player. I don't play the online games anymore, but I still play Sims 4. Sims 4 is my main game. And what I do with that game, I did buy the night after, what was it? The night after Stash Dash was over, I treated myself to that game. So to the Get to Work. That's what it was. I bought an expansion pack is what they're called, and I bought that, and I played it, and I enjoyed it. But it was very confusing when my character went into labor at the hospital while she was working at the hospital. I had to send her home early, for which she got a terrible rating for her work, and then she had to go back to the hospital so I could see what giving birth is like for Sims. It was kind of hilarious. So, yes, I enjoyed that. And I will play more, but I also want to knit now that I'm feeling better. So, that's that. Oh, what I've been watching nothing at all, really. I watched Black Christmas, the newer version, the remake, again. Even my computer knew that I had seen this movie before, but I completely forgot it until the second half of the movie, and I was thinking to myself, should I watch it? Okay. So I watched it and just knitted on something. So, tomorrow I should be getting... Crap, I forgot. Something fun. I forget, though. You know what, I'm not going to bother going to Netflix, unless you want me to. But anyway, while I do that, I'll tell you about the magazine of the week. I got my issue number 131 of the Simply Knitting, and I must say I liked a few of the things that it came with. It had a lot of Easter stuff, which is way too freaking loose, late for me. Oh, the Dresden Files. Yes, the Dresden Files. I'm finally gonna watch the Dresden Files. So that should be cool, right? Alright, enough of the computer. But anyway, it had some nice articles. I'm trying to pick my favorite as I talk to you, I'm sorry. I do like this cowl. I know that Vogue Knitting had something like it, but sorry. I know that Vogue Knitting did something like it, but this looks simpler and more more colorful to me because it's got bigger blocks of color. Oh, and they have they've got they've got that, which is cute. They've got excuse me, egg cozies. What is it with the British and their egg cozies? Can someone explain that to me? Americans don't eat a lot of hard-boiled eggs as far as I know, but then again, I'm not exactly a spokesperson for what is average. Oh, there's a pillow. It's not that awesome. Oh, this is cute. Little bow sheep. Very cute. Allen Dart pattern, as always. And then stitch patterns. A little girl's cardigan, which is really sweet. Very simple. If looks are to go for, I would recommend that for a beginner who is willing to start trying out sweater knitting. Go for the baby stuff I did. It's got a Shaun the Sheep movie mug cozy. I saw a little bit of Shaun the Sheep myself. Mom and I were just channel surfing and we saw the most adorable cartoon. It looked a little bit like claymation. Might not have been, but it looked like claymation. And it's got this sweater here. Sorry. Anyway, I'm not too enthusiastic about that. But again, maybe someone... It looks very simple, so maybe you'd like to make that for yourself. Here's the vest. I wasn't very enthused about it. They don't show it in its entirety. So you don't know if those shoulders are going to be so wide that you look like you've got shoulder pads, which I hate that. That's what happened to the cute little cable twist vest that I made. I have to alter it severely so that it fits me better without the stupid little tufts of knitting. So anyway, that's it. Lots of Easter knits, so if you're not that into Easter, I would give it a pass. It does have one cute thing. It's rabbit hats, bunny eared hats, but to be honest, I would give it a pass on this issue unless you're really into Easter or egg cozies. Or the cow that I liked. So anyway, I think there's a sock now every issue. There is a skirt. And the skirt is pretty, but I would not knit myself a skirt. Too much junk in the trunk, but that is pretty. And wonder what that is knit with. Because if it's fine yarn, forget that. A rand weight sword wouldn't totally be torture. So anyway, that's about it. It's got good articles and stuff and junk. Now, the freebie that came with this issue was one of those gauges where it slid up and down with the numbers, nice rectangle little box, but I found myself struggling to move the little plastic bits to indicate where you were in a pattern, and I just found that very annoying, and I realized it was the same for each part of it. So if I were walking down the aisle at Joann's or Barnes & Noble, I would say give it a pass unless you really like some of the things that I showed you there. But the magazine is pretty expensive, so you could probably find comparable sorry. I know I don't have to apologize, but I do want to apologize for being all dry and achy and complainy. But anyway, yeah, you can find comparable patterns on the internet for less or free. So there you have my opinion of issue number 131 of Simply Knitting. So there goes everything. Don't forget, if you're in the New England area, Bridget and I are going to be together again for the... Okay, something just fell out my room, sorry. Avalanche! That's what usually happens. Sorry. There you go. Sorry. Cleo has not come into the room while I've been recording. She knows I grab her now. Must be that. And, yeah, anyway. If you're in the Nutmeg State or the surrounding states, Bridget and I will be at the Connecticut Sheep and Wool, which is in Tolland, if I'm not mistaken. So come see us, and don't be bothered if I don't recognize you. I'm sorry in advance, but again, because I don't recognize everybody. My dad said I got this from my mom. I forget names and faces very easily, so forgive me. But I want to meet you. Come over, shake my hand, get a hug. I wish I had buttons or business cards to pass out, but I don't. Because I'm lame. And that's about it, I think. Anyway, let's wrap this up, shall we? I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate everybody who views it, whether you've been watching it for a long time or you just picked me up. Thanks for giving me a shot. I appreciate it. You can subscribe very easily on YouTube by hitting that button, I think, or maybe it's over here. There's a red button there. If you like the show, please subscribe. And give me a shout if you feel like if you want. Tell me which off yellow yarn I should use for my fair project that's coming up in July. So yeah, that's it. Let me leave you with my favorite parting thought. Whenever you're doing crafts, from the simplest to the most ornate, you are making the world a more beautiful place, and for that I thank you. Have a good night. I am out of here until next week, and I will hopefully have a podcast starring me and Bridget for you. I know you get excited to see my cousin. I do too. And she knows it. So anyway, bye.